Do you own a landscaping company? Are you struggling with getting your Facebook ads to the level that you want? Maybe you're running Facebook ads right now and for whatever reason they're just not working the way that you want them to. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 reasons that I see every single time of why landscapers aren't able to get their Facebook ads working. And when you fix these 3 things, then you're just going to be able to take your Facebook ads to another level so that you can grow your business. What's going on, you guys? This is Matt Thibeau here with Savant Marketing Agency. And in this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 reasons why landscapers fail with Facebook ads. And you're going to want to stick till the end because the last reason is probably going to surprise you. So let's jump right into things here. I want to give you my top 3 reasons why Facebook ads fail. And I'm going to explain it to you probably that you haven't heard or been able to get in your mind like from other people. I'm going to try and really simplify things here and make it easy for you to understand, because I think that, while what we're talking about here, doing Facebook ads for your landscaping business to grow it, it's actually very simple, but it's not easy, and that's the difference. And so I want to simplify this for you so at least you have a good mental model of how all this works, right? So let's zoom out a little bit here and let's just talk about Facebook ads for landscaping contractors and why, sometimes landscapers fail. So the number 1 reason that I'm going to share with you of why landscapers fail with Facebook ads is simply the quantity of leads, right? There's just not enough leads coming through for your Facebook ads to become profitable, right? And so I actually have 3 different reasons here why this is the case, right? So number 1 reason of why you're just not getting enough leads coming through is going to be your budget, right? So it's going to be your budget. You need to have a budget to work with on Facebook ads for it to be worth it for you. Generally, you're going to want to be getting, depending on the size of your company, but you need to be getting at least like 30 to 50 leads a month to really make Facebook ads give you a lot of momentum. And so for a budget, I wouldn't recommend anything less than $1,500 a month on Facebook ads. I know some other guys that talk about using micro budgets and, only $5 a day and stuff like that. But from my experience, most landscapers just aren't able to move the needle unless they're doing at least $1,500 a month. For our clients, we're usually around like the $3,000 a month on ads, so about $100 a day. And so that's the budget that I would recommend. And if you're coming in lower than $1,500, then you're going to struggle with getting enough quantity of leads for Facebook ads to make sense for you. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you're looking for getting quantity of leads, number 2 would be the objective, right? So the objective that you set your ads to for Facebook. So for example, if you're not getting enough quantity of leads coming in through, but you have a good budget in place, odds are, I'm willing to bet that you're probably running your Facebook ads to a page, like a landing page or a website. And typically I find that that is going to choke your lead flow, right? And so in those cases, if someone has a good budget, but they're just not getting enough leads coming in through, almost always it's because they're running it to a website or a landing page and people are getting there and they're just not entering in their details. So what you want to do instead for your objective is I would recommend doing a lead form ad on Facebook or doing messaging ads. That's going to open up the floodgates a bit. You're going to get less qualified leads by doing that. However, you're going to get the quantity up if that's your problem. And so that is a very simple, easy fix, right? Let's talk about the last reason why you don't have the quantity. Let's say that you have the budget and you're doing lead forms or you're doing messaging ads and you're still not getting enough quantity coming through. Well, short and sweet, that means that your ads suck, unfortunately. And so basically what I would recommend is if people aren't biting and they're not interested in what it is that you are offering and your ads are just kind of, not doing so well, what I would recommend to look at is probably going to be the creative. Here, I'm going to get another marker. I swear I tested this marker before and it was working great. So it's probably going to be the ad creative. And this is going to be like the pictures or the videos that you choose to use for your ad. And so I would say if you're not getting enough leads coming in through and you've done this and this, then start looking at different creatives and test those. I have another video on my channel. It's called the top 3 ad creatives for landscaping. You can have a look at those. I would recommend just doing pictures of your work, experimenting with simple videos of yourself, of your team, etc. You want to play with the ad creative. This is going to drive down the cost per lead, because if you find one that works really well, it is going to get a lot of attention. And this is the simplest thing that you could do to just get more quantity coming through on your Facebook ads. So go through these 3 things if it is a quantity issue, and I promise you, you're most likely going to fix that issue about 99% of the time. So let's talk about now the second reason why most Facebook ads will fail for landscapers. Well, a lot of them will have the quantity of leads, but the next problem is going to be the qualification. So, a lot of landscapers will get leads, but then they're like, man, these leads suck. They're not qualified, right? And that is a common issue as well. And so if that's your issue, then I'm going to give you some really simple steps that you can go through to fix that as well. So number 1, which is kind of full circle here, is the objective. So if you have a lot of leads coming through, but they're not very qualified, then the first thing I would look at is going to be changing the objective. If you're doing messaging ads, that's a smoking gun, is change that to lead forms, because that is another step. They have to fill in their information. That will make it harder for them to reach out to you. And so that will bump up the quality of the leads if you're doing messaging ads, which is quite common if people are complaining about the quality. If you're doing lead form ads and you're still running into quality issues, you can do one of 2 things that I would recommend. Number 1 would be maybe adding some more questions on your lead forms just to qualify. So for example, for some of our clients, they'll have like a minimum charge. So one of your questions could be like, we charge a minimum of $3,500 for these types of projects due to XYZ. Like, is this within your budget? Yes or no? And if it's no, then it'll just close the form. So then you are sacrificing the quantity of leads, but you are going to get a lot more qualified leads. Or what you could do is you could run it to a landing page or a website. I would be a little hesitant to do that just because Facebook doesn't love sending traffic outside of Facebook. So my personal recommendation would be to add a couple questions to your lead form just to make it that much harder for people to reach out. And that is going to boost up the quality of the leads coming in through. Second thing that you could do if you've looked at the objective and you're still having qualification issues of your leads is I would start looking at like the messaging in your ads. So if you're running up against a lot of broke people or people who just like are looking for the cheapest possible option or whatever, have a look at your ad. Are you talking about prices? Is it a very price-oriented ad? Have a look at the overall messaging in your ad. That is going to be something I would look at next to make sure that you could bump up the quality of the leads and just make sure that you're not saying anything that might be leading people in the wrong direction or attracting the wrong type of person. Lastly, let's say for quality, let's say that you're just getting like a whole lot of bogus leads. That's something that also can happen, if people are complaining about qualification, like you're just not able to contact them or something. I would start to also circle back and just look at creative again, because what can happen with Facebook ads is that if your ad is bad and not working very well, Facebook is going to try really hard to just get anyone to come through. And so it will start to send you garbage, basically. And so you want to make sure that your ad is performing well and a lot of people are responding to it, because if not, Facebook wants to get paid, and the only way they do is if you get a lead, if you're doing lead forms for pay for leads. And so I would definitely recommend that you have a look at your creative and try and make that basically more responsive for people. Otherwise, what's going to happen is Facebook's just going to start sending you junk, because what I've realized is there are actually 3 buckets of how the Facebook ad algorithm works. I'm not going to go too deep into this. The first bucket is like some of the best leads. And if you notice, when you first turn your campaigns on, the leads that come are some of the best leads. And I think it's because Facebook's algorithm just wants to send you really good leads in the beginning because it wants you to keep advertising. But once that pool of people is exhausted, now you're in bucket number 2. And bucket number 2 is basically like, these leads are good, but it has also a little bit of a mixed bag. And so, what happens is if your ads really start to fatigue and your creative isn't really like up to par, you'll go into bucket number 2. And like, that's still workable, but if you keep that same creative going and you don't iterate and like work on your ads and make them better, you'll go into what's called bucket number 3. And that's just where the leads are just absolute like terrible. Like, you don't want to deal with those leads at all. I actually got this concept, I need to give credit to Jeremy Haynes, but he explains how like there's different buckets of lead quality within Facebook's algorithm. Long story short is, if you're struggling with qualification, definitely want to look at one of these 3 things, and that will help bump up the quality of the leads that you are getting. All right, let's talk about number 3, because this is one that I mentioned earlier. You're going to want to definitely make sure that you are paying attention to, and I don't see a lot of other digital agencies for landscapers or contracting businesses talk about this, and that is going to be appointment setting. And this one is very often what I see is going to get a landscaper to fail when it comes to Facebook ads, is that there's actually quite a bit of leads coming through sometimes, and then the leads are actually quite a bit qualified, And so what's happening though is that the landscaping business isn't prepared to actually get cold leads coming into their business. A lot of the time, most of the ball is going to be dropped at the appointment setting level. And this is why our agency has really gone into creating different structures and systems in our company to help clients with these leads, because you can have the best leads in the world coming your way, lots of them, but if you don't know how to book appointments, then it's like pissing, all of your hard efforts up against a brick wall, basically. And so if you are struggling with booking appointments with your leads, let's say that they're coming through, but they're not answering. When you call them, you're not able to get them on the phone. Let's say that, you talk to them, but you're just not able to book in for an appointment, et cetera, et cetera. So you're just struggling to actually get in front of the leads that you're generating. It's usually a couple of these different things. Number 1, it's going to be speed. So you're just not getting to your leads fast enough. Typically, what I recommend for Facebook leads is you want to call these leads within like 5 minutes or less, ideally. Obviously, if you don't have an appointment setter or a salesperson or something, that's going to be a little tricky for you to do. So to which my answer would be, you want to call them as fast as possible. A couple days is literally like an eternity in terms of Facebook. And so you definitely want to call these leads extremely fast. Number 2 is that you just want to contact these leads as much as possible. So if you call a lead and they don't answer, the next thing that you want to do is hang up and call again, because double dialing is going to make someone want to pick that phone up. Most people don't want to pick up the phone these days. They think that it's a scammer or spam call or whatever. They actually forget that they've even requested a quote. And so there's a lot of really good leads that if you just call them the second time, they'll pick up. They're 50% more likely to pick up the phone actually if you make that second call. Now, if you aren't able to get in contact with them from there, then what I would recommend to do is like send them a text. A really good trick that I recommend is even just sending them a little video of yourself and just saying, "Hey Alex, I got your request for a quote, and I just wanted to shoot you a message here. Let me know what you're looking for, and I'd be happy to help." And sending a little video selfie works really well because it's harder to ignore you, and it's also, people think that it's a bot or something if you send a text, so they think it's like AI these days. So the video really helps with building that trust and authenticity, right? Last thing I would say for appointment setting is just follow up in general. So for that, if you don't have a good CRM in place, then you're definitely just wasting a lot of money when it comes to Facebook ads. There's no point in paying for leads if you're not going to follow up with those leads and put them in a system to follow up with them later. Some really good CRM systems. If you don't know what a CRM is, it's basically just a software that helps you keep track of all your leads. And it's like a big database. So some popular ones are going to be like Jobber. You might have some industry specific ones. In our agency, we actually give our clients a CRM that we recommend. So there's a lot of different options out there, but it is important that you use a CRM if you're going to be running Facebook ads, because you are going to want to nurture and follow up with those leads if you're not able to get a hold of them and book them in for appointments. So guys, these are the 3 biggest reasons of why landscapers fail with Facebook ads. And if you fix these 3 things, I promise you're going to be able to turn your ads around and get some really great results. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Give it a subscribe so I can give you more great videos like this. And if you're interested in hiring us to take your landscaping or contracting business to the next level, link is in the description. You can book a call with me. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one.